For millennia, the fulfillment of orders has been the basis on which armies are based. And where historically this premise has always been most sacred is in the German army. That is why the case of General Hermann von Francois is unique, who distinguished himself by repeatedly disobeying the orders of his superiors, but whose actions were decisive for the German victory on the Eastern Front. Von Francois was born in Luxembourg, a territory of the German Empire, in 1856. He belonged to a family of noble origin. He entered the military career at an early age, graduating as a second lieutenant at the age of 17. He developed his military career in various garrisons, holding command and administrative positions. By 1899, already with the rank of lieutenant colonel, he was assigned as Chief of Staff of the IV Army Corps, under the command of General Paul von Hindenburg. In 1908, Francois was promoted to Brigadier General and 4 years later to Major General, being appointed commander of the One Army Corps based in Königsberg, that is, in the eastern confines of the empire. There he was surprised by the First World War. At the outbreak of the conflict, he was tasked with defending against any Russian offensive the eastern borders, including the important port city of Königsberg. His unit was organic to the 8th Army, which had been tasked with resisting at all costs the onslaught of numerically superior Russian troops. The main German plan envisaged a quick victory over France, thanks to the Schlieffen Plan, which would allow reinforcements to be sent from the west to the Eastern Front. At the beginning of the war, in August 1914, Francois troops clashed with the right wing of the Russian First Army, commanded by General Paul von Rennenkampf. In other words, a German general with a French name would fight against a Russian general with a German name. On August 17th, the General-in-Chief of the Oriental Theater, Maximilian von Prittwitz, observing with concern the advance of the Russians in the south, ordered Francois to retreat with his troops who were under heavy enemy fire. But Francois, reluctant to surrender Prussian territory and being bellicose by nature, considered it suicide to retreat in the middle of the fighting, so he disobeyed Prittwitz's order, responding with his famous phrase, "General von Francois will retreat when he has defeated the Russians." He then counterattacked Rennenkampf's powerful army at the Battle of Stallupönen and won a stunning victory, inflicting 5,000 casualties and taking 3,000 prisoners. After winning the battle, Francois obeyed Prittwitz's orders and withdrew 24 kilometers to the west, where 3 days later he again confronted the Tsar's troops at the Battle of Gumbinnen, managing to stop Rennenkampf's advance to the west. After that battle, Prittwitz was replaced in command of the 8th Army by Paul von Hindenburg, who sent Francois's troops southwest to face the Russian Second Army of General Alexander Samsonov. Francois refused to undertake the assault until his troops had been sufficiently rested and ready for combat, which irritated the Chief of Staff, Erich Ludendorff. Despite this, Francois played a decisive role in the Battle of Tannenberg. On the 27th of August, he attacked the vanguard of Samsonov's army while harassing his rear. Ludendorff, fearing a counterattack from Rennenkampf, ordered him to slow down the advance and head towards Lana. However, Francois twice disobeyed his direct order and continued to advance until he took Neidenberg and Willenberg, thus cutting off the retreat of Samsonov's army. This movement allowed the encirclement and annihilation of the Russian Second Army. When Hindenburg and Ludendorff came in with the 9th Army in the Poland, Francois remained with his unit in East Prussia, successfully commanding it in the First Battle of the Masurian Lakes. Then the General Schubert, this direct commander, ordered his retreat. But Francois sent a telegram to headquarters detailing his victory and mentioning that the commander was ill-advised. Schubert was furious because this telegram reached the Kaiser who, upon reading it, ordered Schubert to be replaced by Francois in command of the 8th Army. When Hindenburg and Ludendorff were preparing their attack on the Russians from Thorn in the direction of Lodz, Francois refused to send the Y Army Corps, as requested. It was the 6th time since the beginning of hostilities that he had disobeyed direct orders from his superiors. His skill and his decisive victories had saved him from a council of war, but his superiors had grown tired of his indiscipline. In November 1914, von Francois was relieved of command and replaced by General Otto von Below. Because his skill had saved Germany from being invaded by the Russians, he was not separated from the army, but he did receive a punishment that was unbearable for him. He was sent to the reserve and kept there in irrelevant positions. He finally returned to the Eastern Front in April 1915, where he took part in the spring offensive to conquer Poland. For his brilliant actions, he received the medal pour le mérite, for Mary, the highest German military decoration of that time, although its name was in French. In July 1915, he was sent to the Western Front to assume command of the 7th Army Corps. He participated in the Battle of Verdun where, thanks to his excellent work, he was awarded the Iron Cross with oak leaves. However, due to old quarrels with Ludendorff, due to his repeated tendency to disobey orders, Ludendorff removed him from command in July 1918 and sent him to the reserve until October, when von Francois retired from service. For most analysts, if Hermann von Francois had remained in command of military units on the Western Front, the outcome of the war would have been different. That do not mean that the Germans had won it, since that was no longer possible due to the entry of the United States, which definitively tipped the balance in favor of the Allies. But very possibly Germany could have obtained better conditions in defeat. Thank you for watching our History at Tube channel.